What's up, Walt? Welcome back to the X-Files podcast.
What a legendary place to be on this eve of St. Christopher.
Yeah. Are we going to call it a
huge Christmas guy.
Are we going to call it a Christmas special or?
I have a snowman and a fucking blow up Santa. So yes, this is a Christmas special. I am wearing red and green.
What if I can't get it uploaded in time?
If you can't get it up in time, well, a lot of people are going to be having that problem this Christmas, Dylan. It is 80 degrees here in the South right now, man. It was crazy. I had a Christmas sweater I was going to wear. I can't. Snowman's only here for another hour. He's going to be melted. Anyways.
That's funny.
What a year for foiling.
Yeah, I think that's, like most of our podcasts, we have no plan, but we are good. You are a good talker, which I think over the year, everybody gets to know Walt's voice.
Gets to be annoyed by the soothing nasal tones of Walt Dickinson.
Hello. Somebody said we did when we did all the recordings in the van, I had to like really tone up the AI tuning, and in a lot of episodes you just sound like a robot. And they're like,
I am the future.
Like, are you using AI like fixing the audio? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, huh. Walt sounds like a robot. I'm like, Walt is a robot. What are you talking about?
Well, it just goes, who knows? I could be AI. See, that's where we live now. We're in this place where like, I might not even be here. You might not even be here. Is that the next podcast? Are we getting existential? No, we're talking about foils. So, but wait, is the F4 rule in effect for today's podcast?
I don't have enough beer.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm holding you accountable in the next one. You can talk about F4 because it's the Christmas special only for one episode.
Yeah, that's the rule. That's the rule. We don't want to.
We're breaking it right now. I mean, I just said F4, so it's not a very good rule.
Beer, 10 burpees.
I know. All right, we'll save it for the end. This is why we're allowing it today, because if not, we'd be wasted by the time we get done this podcast. Because we got to talk about the best things of 2025 and what we're stoked about for 2026. So, what about you, dude? Let's talk gear. Gear innovation 2025. What blew your dome?
Man, 2025 kind of, it feels like it blew by. Like I can't believe that it's the end of the year already. And I mean, it was the year of the Parawing.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it didn't start, in 2025. It started a little bit earlier, but
it started as like the year of the foil drive for me. Kind of like, I was really when I discovered foil drive was this year. But the Parawing, we saw it in the summer. And then it was like foil drived a bunch in the winter. And then when season came and we had, all the new toys, right? It wasn't just the BRM Gen 1. It was the BRM Gen 2 plus the ozone and, all this other stuff that's come down the pipeline. And now, yeah, it's a whole new, it's the best version of the sport of wind sports for me.
Yeah. And then exactly what happened in winging. I can talk from my shop is what's happening with parawinging. Is that when winging came out, it's like, oh man, this is going to be something. And you start buying all these V1 wings to try to keep up for demand that you think you're going to create. And then V2 comes out like a month, 2 months later, and you want to order as many as you can because that's the coolest shit. And then V3 comes out and you're stuck with V1, V2s and nobody... The amount of Parawings that have come out in the last year is overwhelming. Honestly.
Sorry, hold on a second. I gotta deal with this dog.
Deal with it. So I was talking about Parawings and the overwhelming amount of Parawings that we have on the market and how saturated it is right now. And I don't know if it's everybody or it's just me, but all of a sudden we suddenly got all our stock that we really wanted and we finally caught up. No one's buying any Parawings now. Not right now. I mean, very little. And then there's this like huge market of, used Parawings that are almost used. Maybe people got into it and they figured they couldn't do it. So then they're like selling them used 3 times for like $600 when wings are like $1,100. And I think the market it's got to recover in a little bit and come back alive. But right now it's just There's a lot of Parawings sitting on the market.
Well, this is, I mean, as much as it's the boom of the Parawing this year, right? Like it was 2025. I mean, you could say, obviously, the pocket.
This is the COVID overstock of Parawings all over again.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was going to say. I mean, you have the launch, and so the launch happens, and you got all these V1s. Obviously, BRM happened not this last summer, but the summer before. Then you kind of go into winter, which makes sense. You know, like it's harder to use a Parawing in winter unless you've got like cranking downwind conditions. But even in Puerto Rico, right? Like bigger swells. It's not just wind swell like the summer trade downwinding, which is like an easier time to be downwinding. And I think that's still the number one application for these things, right? So we're not confident enough to be grabbing them and like crushing it in the surf. Happening this year, right? It's happening a lot this year, but a year ago we weren't. I think for anybody learning, they're in the same boat. So as soon as you come to winter, A, you're not buying one. And then B, yeah, we all hustled so hard to get our hands on all these Parawings. We just dropped 4 or 5 grand on a quiver to have 3, 4, 5 different sizes. And so now you're like, well, I can probably make this V1 Ozone work instead of getting the, what's the new one? The Snatchy Collapsy 5000, you know what they called it? Point being, it's supposed to be great. Sinbad's preaching. We'll talk about it on the podcast. It's epic. But I'm like, dude, I've got a whole quiver that I, you know, other than the 3 meter is still pretty crispy. And I guess I'm just going to suck it up for the winter and see what happens in the spring. And I'm sure a lot of people are sitting in that same boat, you know?
I don't know. I'm a little bit confused by this power pack thing.
Power pack.
I don't know. I'm like, everyone's like, hey, are you going to get those? Are you going to get those? And I'm like, no, man, I've got a lot of stock of amazing Parawings right now that I think do everything that I want. I've got frigates, I've got ozones, I've got kanahas and kas, and they were amazing. And they're doing everything that we need to do. I don't know why we need to go backwards and have a less performing Parawing. Like, I mean, I guess it's for the surf, right?
Well,
but how many people are really using it in the surf? And then why would I want to use a Parawing like just for downwinding? Then I don't know what the marketing's confusing to me because I just want a V2 pocket rocket. I do not want a power pack. Like I don't want something that goes less upwind, that has shorter lines. Like the pack away is just not a problem. It's not really that much of an issue to have less performance. I don't know. And I think F1 might be doing the same thing. They're going to come out with an easier to use, less upwind performance Parawing, and that's what all the V1s were. Like,
well,
why do we need these?
A little bit of that's coming off of like the Maliko, right? That not the original Maliko, but the actual the one they make now at BRM, which is, you know, a downwind specific with different than this though, much longer lines. My point is, it's the same kind of proposition. We're saying like, okay, we have this like specific use case of like, we want to go upwind, downwind, whatever. If I can sail it upwind, of course, I'll figure out how to pack it away and go downwind, right? I can get up on foil. I can do all the things. That's what you and I have been saying. How does that translate to waves? I think the only thing I would say is from riding the frigate and the ozone and then the 777 and a few other things when I was like getting some sessions at Kanaha, definitely like, man, how quick you want to depower it and have those lines in control. And it's not even about like the line length is like part of it, but it's more like the depower, how quick can you get it out of the air and like into your hand into a little ball so you can enjoy surfing? Because the more you get into waves, the more performance driven it gets. And like the less time you have to fuck around. Like it's one thing packing it away on a downwind when you're turning on a face and you've got like 3 seconds before it starts to really crumble and you really got to start making some turns. You don't want to be fucking around with your trash bag like it all half inflating and you're trying to get it down. So I see the need to solve that, but I don't want to solve that if I have to give up my upwind sailing or overall performance. I will fucking figure out how to pack away my piece of shit long line, whatever, if it sails better. So I'm with this solution. Like, let's solve this. Let's find the best, fastest way. Because there was no doubt when I switched from the ozone to that 777 and that first wave I turned on, because it was so twitchy and sensitive, when I dropped it, man, it came out of the window so much faster with like less ability to reinflate, and I was able to kind of get it in my hands faster. There were some other things I didn't like as much about it, but you know, if that's the solution, like let's go there. But we don't want to give up performance to get there. I don't want to have a trash, I don't want to go back to trash. I feel like we're sailing these awesome wings now, and I don't want to go back to sailing something that doesn't get me upwind, because that was the most frustrating thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I know that this thing does go upwind, I'm just I'm just confused. I think they're just trying to catch up more sales. I know that's not what Ozone is about, to just, sell more shit. And I don't know if they're marketing it towards surfing or not. I don't know if there's a lot of people using it in that degree. And I don't know why. I just don't need two different pair wings to do the
I was
same
confused too, because like we
thing.
were sitting around thinking Pocket Rocket V2. There's nothing else we're waiting for from Ozone. It's going to be the Pocket Rocket V2. And then this came out, and so we're all kind of scratching our head, which is why I hit Sinbad up, and I was like, "Dude, what's up with this thing?" And I mean, she said, "Is this legit?"
She loves it. Yeah, she loves it.
Yeah.
She said.
And
She told me.
yeah, I mean, it's got to be good. So it's got to be a step in some direction, and
Yeah.
you're sacrificing other places to get more performance where you want it. But I'm telling you, man, there's definitely like, if I had like, it is a very important piece of the puzzle in the surf session. Not that you don't know, but like, I think for collapse and redeploy in a surf session, you need something that can do a little bit more than I think what we have right now. But it's okay. We're on V1. I was expecting that in my Pocket Rocket V2 that I would be buying in the spring, not in this thing that got put out right before Christmas. And now we're all like, oh God, should I buy one for the winter? I don't know. I mean, I'll go ride Simbads and then I'll probably buy one. Is what'll happen.
No, just use the frigate. It's got shorter lines. It's like, I don't know. For me, I don't know. I don't know where it sits for me.
Like, we're just talking about like what we don't know about and what we don't like right now.
I remember we actually said that. We're like, hey, you're like, let's not talk about things that we don't try, because, it'll always surprise you.
Totally.
You're like, oh, I don't think that looks good. And we're like, meh, but
100%. We talked about, we've got to be better about trying, because we want to talk about it, right? It's like right now we want to talk about, we got to be better about getting our hands on some of this stuff. Not that we don't. So we get our hands on a lot of stuff, but
preconceived notion of,
there we go. What was we did a lot of parawinging this year, right? Trying a lot of gear, a lot of good ones, some bad ones. What was your favorite? I know we've done like the things, but at the end of the year, like, what was your favorite parawing to be on? Whether it was even just one session or the whole season.
Yeah, I want to say
size too. I want the size wing and the brand.
It was probably, man, it's hard to pick between that Ozone and that frigate. They're a little bit different, but they just offer so much. I don't know what my best session was, probably on the 3.5 frigate.
Yeah.
I was just lit up, and I was just having the time of my life. I couldn't believe how much power I was holding and how stable and fun it was, and how easy it was to pack. Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember you were like, I can't believe I was sailing this 3.5 and like, it was like 40 knots or something.
Gusting to 30 or something. I was like, holy crap, like scary. But then I had like some spectacular sailing sessions in the hatch with the Ozone. Just so playful and fun, and like light, feels light in your hands. And the 3.6, I only used the 3.6 the whole time. Didn't matter what it was blowing.
Oh yeah, no, I have that
until it ripped out of my hand.
Yeah. It's like, you left me with the 3.6. No, I did force you to leave me with the 3.6, but it was about a 3.75 by the time you left the river. My 3-meter Ozone just had to be my like go-to, just favorite thing I got to ride all season. That size specifically, I think it just handled really well, hit the wind windows that we had. Once you got tuned in, I could kind of always make the 3 work in hood, which was great. Or in the gorge. We'll keep calling it the wrong thing forever. But I'm with you. The frigate was really tight too. It was similar, different feels, but like similar performance. Yeah, I don't know. So there was so much good stuff we tried, but that was just like, I was, every time I'd be riding that 3-meter, I'd just be like, man, this feels just perfect. Like, I can't imagine wanting a whole lot more out of my equipment. I know there's more out there, and I know 2 years from now we'll look back and we'll be like, oh man, I can't believe we were riding that. Do you believe how it collapsed and whatever? But man, right now, I just think for where the sport, for where we saw the sport, and like for where we've gotten to in such a short time, I mean, the equipment is not what's holding us back, right? It's our skills.
No.
And that's the exciting thing.
Yeah. The reason I brought up the power pack, and I'm not sure where I would use it or how, is because, man, when someone comes into the shop and asks me, hey, which pair wing should I get? And I have 4 options to give them, I have a negative and a positive with every single one of like, you could do this and then that. And the lines are a little bit long on the Ozone, but it's light. And I have this like back and forth, like rattle in my head. I'm actually really good at sales, but I'm also really good at but I'm really good at talking about foiling as well. And and I just talk people out of things that I have to sell because it might not be good for them or not. And it's really hard to have another pair wing that I think might not be what they're looking like. Oh, does it go upwind or not? Oh, can I use it to sail? Oh, am I going to do downwinds? Oh, what if I use it to sail? And I'm like, oh my God, it like gives me a headache being like, maybe you should buy the frigate. I don't know.
Well, this is the problem with being, I mean, you're always chasing that edge and you're very in tune with the equipment you sell. So the moment, you know, as chasing goes, you're going to find things and you're going to have to let go and move on. That's what chasing's all about. That's how you improve, right? Like you can't hang on to the same thing. You wouldn't be moving anymore. So that means that you're going to get stuck with some stuff that is, you know, not where your head is at the moment. And you're not a dishonest person. So you're not going to be able to sell them something you don't believe in. And then you just get fucked with a bunch of inventory, dude, every time.
I was talking to one of my instructors today, and a guy called me. He's like, "Hey, I saw this 144. It's a twin tip, and it's like a wake style, like straight wake style cable twin tip." He's like, "I want this 144 twin tip." And like yesterday, I was looking at it, and I'm like, "Damn, I can't believe I still have that twin tip. Like, no one's gonna buy that. No one wears boots and does cable stuff like wake style. I'm like, I can't sell that." This guy called. He's like, "I want that board," and I'm like, "What's your level?" He's like, I can go back and forth. I'm like, "Ugh, that is not a good board for you." And then I got off the phone. I sold him something else, and I was like, "God damn, I am never, ever gonna sell that."
That was my shot. That was it.
I'm like, why can't I just like let someone buy it? Like, just buy it. Like, and I mean, people buy the wrong equipment all the time.
Yeah, but
so
they
yeah,
don't
I
go
get
back
stuck
and
with
they
a
don't
lot
buy
of
from
equipment.
They don't buy for the same person they bought the wrong equipment for over and over again, though. And I think that is the key, and that's why people come back and buy gear from you, because you take good care of them. Since we're talking about gear, we've talked about Parawings. Let's do board of the year. Board of the year, any size, any platform, from towed to downwind. Board of the year.
The 4.5 30-liter vert.
4.5 30-liter vert with the custom drill outs for the signal pass through, right, for the foil drive.
Dude,
I agree. I can't wait to do the conversion on my own. Maybe the greatest foil drive board of all time.
I think that's the board I've used maybe the most if I count all my sessions, because I prone it, I tow it, and I foil drive it.
Yeah, it's a really great.
Epic.
It's a sleeper. I think it's a sleeper deck. Look, if you're somebody who wants a low volume prone and foil drive board, because I would say that's on the lower volume side for a prone board or for a foil drive board, unless you're like 5 foot, 100 pounds. So if you're into like that and you want it to also work great as a tow board, I mean, that thing is so precision, so stiff, no straps, right? So you can't do any straps on it, so no airs, but or at least strapped airs. But man, as an all around vessel, I mean, I'm kind of a tweaker about all the gear, and I tow a lot. And I've bought how many boards from you to tow with? Like at least 5 or 6. And you'd think like, oh, what 5? Okay, yeah. You'd think like, well, it doesn't really matter as long as it's like sub, 4.5 foot. I don't care. I'm just going to stand on it. But it's not the case. Like that, as you get into bigger and bigger waves, the connection you feel to that foil, the speeds you're going at, like how the rail touches down, how you feel about the platform that you're standing on, how much room you have in the offset, and how the tail releases, and all those things, they really can like make or break your sessions. And so, I mean, I own 2 of them. I own the, what is it? The 4.2 and the 4.6 or 4.5?
4.5.
Yeah, because I like them both so much. I like the 4.2, sometimes towing, sometimes I want the 4.5 just to have a little more meat underneath me. But yeah, anyways, I just think nobody really like talks about those styles of boards. I think because we all think they're so like interchangeable in that size. And I don't know, I just was really impressed. And like, there's very few boards I've bought 2 of, and I bought 2 of this board, and you just named it as one of your favorites. Obviously, my favorite of the year is going to be the new Frank board for parawinging. Why did my brain just...
I don't have one.
Dart, mini dart, yeah. Or I don't know what we call it. The Walt and I special, if you get it direct from him.
They land in the U.S. in 3 days. So yeah. They'll start shipping out to the U.S. market here in a couple, like in a week.
Cool. Yeah. Oh, man, those are going to be great boards for people to get their hands on. Super cool projects.
I'm curious to see how they go. I haven't sold a ton of them, but I sold a few of each like size, and I'm stoked for the people to get them in their hands. I'd be shocked if the other shops aren't selling a ton of them.
Right. Well, I think, I know the original collaboration with Frank that Axis did went really well, and the downwind boards really took off. That said, he isn't as well known for things outside of the downwind board space, but I do think from us trying a lot of gear, this board's pretty special, especially for production and in the weight and size and performance. I remember I told you a second ago, I was like, dude, get me the 50, because like I just was like, man, maybe I want that size down. You always look at the size down of the board you're on and be like, man, wouldn't that be cool to ride? So I don't know. I just think there's a lot of potential, and the bigger sizes are cool. And how the dart surf also, not the mini dart, but just the dart, I think is going to be another really good option for a production style board that feels almost like a custom and will work great for downwinding or parawinging or whatever, right? For larger riders. Because the only thing with the mini dart, it does get a little bulky in the higher volume sizes. I think the sweet, at least from my perception, like the sweet spots, like the 85 and under, that board really, really shines.
They do 90, 80, 70, 60.
Is that what it is? 90? Yeah. Like, so 90 was good. I feel like when it got a little bigger than that, like the 110, they were just getting a little chunky.
But the mini dart only comes to 100.
100. Okay. Yeah. So it's like, it doesn't matter. All I'm saying is like the small sizes are great. I think that's where there's a little overlap between the dart and the mini dart, where like when you get to 100 liters, which one's really the better vessel for you? I think that's more your style and your exactly right. Totally. All right. Best session of the season or year, I guess. 2 seasons.
Man, best session. That's a hard one. I haven't had a lot of sessions. So recently.
I can't even count them all.
It's been busy. Yeah, there's no way you can count. Damn.
You couldn't. Yeah, we had a good year, didn't we? Man, we got on the water a lot. I mean, that one foil drive session you and I had when it was like about 7 foot out at Shack's, that was a pretty great session. That was like the first time we went out when it was like big with the foil drives, and we both had a really good day. Didn't get wrecked too bad. That was a good one.
You think this year flew by, but then you look back and I'm like, damn, was that this year? God damn, there was a lot of sessions. Year. There's a lot of stuff that happened.
Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, I just foil drive for the first time 1 year and like a month or 2 ago, basically, right? That was like the first time I'd ever been on one, was like November last year. Yeah, this year just had so much that came at us for a foiling. It was like insane, dude. Like, we didn't get into foils. We'll talk about foils. Obviously, KT's entering the space, which is like huge. Everybody been sitting around waiting forever for the cane foils, right? The moment the cane tails were getting paired up and we were going like, who's this kid? Who's Kane? What's he doing? And then, you kind of knew this guy was going to be a meaningful part of what we're doing in foiling. And like, when is he going to apply what he's doing here with tails? Because obviously he was putting together feels and had this intuitive nature around like creating profiles that made sense there. And it was tuning up all of our gear. And who wasn't riding a cane tail, right? Everybody was. And I think like seeing him go to KT and launch that brand, that was like a big moment, I think, for foiling, to see, somebody who's a youth member of the sport, like brought up in the sport, now creating formative designs that are influencing the sport. That's how long we've been around as a sport, right? 10 years is enough for him to grow up in it and now be producing some foils that resonate and, push camber and push design, I think, into a different direction, which is what we needed. And then, right after that, we got handed those F4s, which also blew my mind. So two foils that really just kind of took foiling and went like, wow, I kind of thought not we were stuck on designs, but like everything was kind of feeling the same, if that makes sense. It was not that there was just some synergies between brands. Like everybody was kind of leveling up, and then all of a sudden KT had this crazy low end and new feel, and then these F4s came, and I was just like, oh my God, I didn't know foiling could feel like that.
But Armstrong had those crazy low end foils before KT.
Yeah, it's true. But they were doing in the surf profile.
No, they had those DWs or whatever, those downwind foils that were like crazy.
Yeah. Well, that was the first time we saw that super camber on the profile of the wing, right? That was delivering all that low end. Yeah. It's hard. You could talk. Heck. Yeah. And I mean, you could obviously, there's so many great brands that were also existing in that area. It's just like, that's what left me. This is my opinion, right? Like, this is what left me this year. Those were the two that like, okay, I wasn't looking at you. You didn't exist, KT. Who the fuck is F4? And why are these things feeling so different? We rode pretty much everything everybody put out this year. Lots of great gear. All the foils are the best foils anybody's put out. So nobody's hurting, but hey, it's good to see it moving forward and like see that there's still runway.
Yeah.
We got this year.
I mean, Yeah. I mean, it's gonna keep doing that. There's no way. It's crazy.
Your
I
favorite
mean,
foils now?
my favorite foils. I mean, code all the way,
All day, baby. Code all day, every
all
day.
day.
So the
Um,
X is you calling the X out as foil of the year?
no.
You're getting people are going to get some real terrible awards from this. By the way, it's going to be like an Andes mint with a piece of duct tape on it. Says you
Um,
won.
I mean, what a year for code. Crazy. Like they're still producing different sizes, same profile. They're very they're slow now coming out with their new stuff because they know it's got to be really, really good. Because their foils have been around for now 2 years, and they're still extremely relevant. And there are like I would say 40% of my code clients are going on F4 now, but but the code foils. I mean, there's a ton of more distribution of code in the States now. Um, so I don't know how their sales are doing. It's definitely slowed down for me. Um, but man, if you want to get in at a high performance foil system that is stiff, solid, and has a huge range for every user, I mean, you cannot go wrong with code,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the construction from
right?
day
Like
one was
the
so impressive.
and their size range now goes like 1725S to a 500, and the R goes up to like a 1250. That R was amazing for downwinding, like
Yeah,
glidey,
they're really trying to
fast.
tap into the Japanese sumo market. I feel like there's a big chance for some sumo downwinding with the with the 1225. No, obviously that's not that huge, but the wingspan, we saw it at AWSI. I mean, it looks like an aircraft carrier. That thing is like what 4.5 feet. Like you'd have to have a special surf bag just to travel with that foil.
Dude, I shipped one. It's bigger than a board
It was
box.
longer than the board, right? Yeah. That's what I'm
Oh,
saying. It's crazy.
it's insane. To ship that foil is crazy expensive.
Yeah, I think the thing with Code was, they just stuck in there. They put out some great foils. They expanded the range. The X did not disappoint. I think that, we waited to see that thing come out. Obviously, I personally would have loved if they put it out in the spring, so I would have had it for summer. But getting to try it at AWSI was
And
radical, and I can't wait to ride it this
you
winter.
wouldn't have got a KT setup if that X was around.
Absolutely. If they hadn't put out the X, I wouldn't have tried the KT. And I'm really glad I got the KT setup and was able to spend so much time on it to kind of see what he was doing. Because, I mean, it was such a radically different feeling set than like what I'd been riding with Code. And yeah, and it's cool to see the X out. And I think if, like you said, if you're investing in brands, I mean, God, there's so many good brands, and it's not like you would talk one down to the other. I mean, as we've gotten to see what Axis is doing, right? Like seeing them reinvesting in their board side and what their foils and all the new development stuff they're doing. And then
I mean,
obviously
I've got
Armstrong is not slowing down at all. So I mean, you've got a lot of really strong players making incredible gear, and no doubt this skinny mast is the feel, but they're all gonna catch up. And a year from now,
everyone's
everybody's gonna
going
feel
skinny.
great. Yeah, because it's the feel.
As
It's the
these
next
layups
thing
get
to reduce, right? To give us more of that feel.
Yeah, I had what did I have? Like I wrote some brands down. Code foils hanging in there strong. Nash, new badass designer. Armstrong still doing their thing. AFS, I don't know who they are. Lift on foils.
I don't know who they are. You know who AFS is.
No,
I
I
know,
know
but we
who
haven't
they
gotten a
are.
chance to ride their gear enough.
I don't really
agree.
know. I don't really know what they're doing. Silk is like, everyone talks. There's a lot of chatter about it. That's really cool. So I'm excited to see what Nash does with their new designer with Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a note here. Lift is Lift gonna come out with some fantastic
Oh man,
foils?
we just lost Santa. Santa down. He's been drinking since noon. It's fine. Lift new foils. Yeah, right. Nick's always working on some new shit. New foils, new
Because
e-foil tech. I think there's all kinds of things that he's gonna do. There's no doubt they're not stopping. They're gonna just keep pushing on e-foils and surf foils, and they seem poised to like do something this year. It feels like.
I'd like to be riding some Lift foils. Like there's some really good history there, and it could be such a great surf foil downwind foil brand. Maybe a
Well,
lot
and
of focus on the e-foil.
yeah, not to say they aren't, because like I mean, the Florences came out. We
No, they
obviously
are. They
saw
are.
a lot of people riding them, but you're right. It has people have transitioned into other brands a little bit more, right? A lot of people probably were riding Lift and have moved into other brands because we've got a lot more options. You and I, two examples of that, right? Like, I mean, we were right 3 years ago, we were both on Lift. Now we're riding other stuff. Yeah, I think it's time, and totally, like, you're in Puerto Rico. You know, we know Nick, we know the crew. The aesthetic is incredible. The craftsmanship's there. I think it's, yeah, I think when he puts out something that makes us all stand up and pay attention again. I think, unfortunately, like, God, the way it is right now, you got to really stand out. You know, everybody's really working hard to stand out, and unless you put a feel out that gets the circle of all of us talking and sharing and hyping, like, we're probably, even though your gear might be incredible, like, we're probably going to migrate towards that thing, right? Like, it's this, we're totally individualistic. We as individuals all decide to ride the same gear that everybody else is riding as we talk about how great it is, you know? So
I was thinking about
how much is influence, how much is legit.
Well, I was thinking about it. Like, someone came in, like, what are the most common foil brands that you see in Puerto Rico? And we see like a big, like, there's a hodgepodge of like different stuff, right? We're so close to the States, so it's easy and accessible to get whatever you want from any shop. I'm essentially the only foil shop on the island, but it's not that everyone's buying their foils from me. I wish. So yeah, we see a lot of Code, we see a lot of North, we see a lot of F1, we see a lot of Armstrong, but you know, every community it's like that in kiting too. Like, what kites do we see on the island? We see a lot of Ozone kites because of the shop down the street. We see a lot of North kites because of my shop, and that's what people are using and seeing because that's what people talk about. It's the same in every little community. There's a shop that's pushing a foil brand or a certain, and I think people gravitate towards that. So the community itself has a big influence on what you're riding, right? And so it is hard to be, I think at this point, yeah, there's going to be a brand that is not in a shop that can maybe leapfrog and be the most sought after. And that's what people want to ride. But people are looking for the best performance now because they're good enough to find that performance. But really, you're kind of buying the foils that are easily accessible, something that you can demo and try. It's hard to order a foil online and be like, yeah, that's what I'm looking for, that feel. But if you try it, like, people come into my shop, it's great. They're like, oh man, what does that 740X feel like? I'm like, I don't know, take it. And I'll invoice you later because you're not bringing it back.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Yeah, no, it's a great point. How much regional
the shops have
influence?
That has a huge influence on what people are riding.
Yeah, and I think there's also there's layers
earlier
to
on, maybe now. Yeah, there's layers for sure. But
yeah, well,
foiling is a different breed.
Yeah, well, because so as a learning foiler in your first few years, all the brands are making great gear, right? All the brands are making great beginner or intermediate foiling gear. I mean, you can't really make a bad decision. Like, if you're on anybody's 9, 10, 10 aspect foil, that's probably going to be what you need to be on, unless you're a super beginner and you're on some super low aspect 6, whatever.
5.
But yeah,
5 aspect. 4.
My point is, like, you're just choosing a good brand, and all of those great brands, like an Armstrong or an Axis or a North or an F1, these bigger brands, the ones that we think of like legacies in the sport, they're great. But just like in any other thing, there's going to be layers on that of smaller brands coming in. And I think that's really where, I mean, you touched on it in our last interview, is like, when's the $10,000 foil coming out, right? Like, when is, and not saying like we want a lot of that, but there's got to be a level to this thing where it just keeps kind of escalating, and there's more small niche, you know, like Mike's Lab brands and stuff like that out. And even F4 kind of slid into that, obviously more commercial, very price point accessible, but like trying to build some racier gear, and they've kind of like started coming in. I just think it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. I mean, the big guys are solid. They're in it. All the quality is going to be there. They're just going to be, there's going to be little things like an 11 mil mast that will sneak up, and you're going to have to buy the small brands version to feel it, because it's going to take a year for the big guys to like do all the research and get it all done and get it through their shops and have all the it's like you said, he doesn't even have the right name on the F4 foil he's putting out sometimes, right? Because he's like, the shape's there, it rides great, let's get it to market. Whereas you know how it is, a big brand, dude, you got to put it on the product calendar, develop it for a year, build a brand package with visual brand identity and all the sales sheets and all that shit, and bring it to market and talk to people and hype. It's this whole thing. So it slows down innovation. And I think we're in this place where we just want
label,
innovation.
with a distribution.
Exactly. Yeah, and we're in this place where we want to support free, fast-moving innovation. So there'll be both.
No,
I
and
think
it's
the big
and it's
guys
also
will
like
ultimately have the greatest gear, but we'll take these little brands as we go to kind of leapfrog it and keep the thing moving.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, foilers want foils yesterday. Like, I've never had somebody call me and be like, "Will it arrive yesterday?" I'm like, no. Like, well, when can you get it? Like, now.
Yeah, you should figure that out. That'd be a good thing to add on to your your concierge list of yesterday delivery.
AI like foil discovery. You just like tap into their search, and it like arrives on their door, and they're like, "Hey, I'd like this. I already knew. I saw you searching it. I sent it out. I'm invoicing you."
It's on your doorstep.
It's on your doorstep already.
That's that trust. That trust as your foil buyer, right? It'll be like, Dylan he just sent it to me. It's fine. I'll take it. Another $5,000. Let's go.
Yeah, that'd be sweet. Right. Be like, just trust.
It's the future, man. It's the future.
Trust the system.
Your personal foil shopper.
So talking about those brands and foils and stuff, like, what's going to happen with Unifoil? They had a lot of brand following, they had a lot of shops, and then now they go direct, and then the prices they're not half price, but they're a lot cheaper. And I think everyone at the beginning is really stoked about it. They're like, hell yeah, we get this quality gear that we've seen in all the shops and had all these riders and great foils. And then, there's no shops to support it. It's all direct. And they went the other way around. They went and got all this distribution and all these shops building this brand, and then take it away, and now they're a direct consumer. Direct to consumer, which...
Yeah, because you saw so
tough.
much of that foil, right? The progression foil set, when those were developed, like that whole thing, I think because of how big the progression podcast was and is in the foiling journey, right? It was like the number one platform for communication. When he developed those foils as kind of a leader in the space, I think it really leveraged a ton of clout to those foils, right? And I think everybody was like excited to try them. I rode them, you did. I know on the East Coast it was huge, like everybody was riding them. And I think that's a hard thing to probably hang on to, right? As you have all these other more substantial brands. And I bet Uni probably had to work pretty hard to expand distribution and stuff to kind of keep up with the explosion of the excitement around those foils. And I think they're making a good call. I mean, it's how it is. You're a retailer. It's a lot of margin to give up as a supplier, especially for a niche product. Maybe there's room for there to be both, right? Like some are going to need to be direct consumer, and some are going to be where you really need shops. The thing you lose is that personal touch. You go and you see Dylan, you want to try that whatever code or F4 or whatever, you're just going to hand him a kit and say, go get wet, try it out, bro. Whereas like this is like, do you just click on it and mortar?
I don't even know if it's the try before you buy. I don't know if there's a ton of people that are trying before they buy. I think it's pretty rare around the world for a bunch of demo gear to be handed out for people to try stuff and then buy them. I don't know if people, and when the hype happens, people are like, well, let me try it first before I buy it.
Yeah, with foils though, because you're talking about thousands of dollars. Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people do try. I mean, maybe they don't always try from you, but they're getting their hands on it from somewhere, or they're getting somebody who they really trust who's really recommending it to them, right? Like it's one of those two things. Yeah. Nobody's just going to buy gear without somebody they really trust saying, just shut up, open your wallet, buy it, or they got a chance to try it and feel the difference. Yeah,
which happens with these small shops. They're like, I trust you 100%. I'll get on the phone with you for hours and I know exactly what I'm going to get. And they don't need to try it. When they try it, they're like, thank you so much. I guess they have a lot of trust already, Unifoil.
I mean, at the end of the day, look, there's two ways you grow your business, right? You grow it on quality of product, or you grow it on quality of marketing. Like those are the two ways. You're either dumping money into marketing to keep your product that's not as relevant as your competitors in front of people, in their faces, making room for you to get those sales, or your quality is so high that the experience is so high that people are willing to pay it. And I think that there's no doubt everybody's going to be facing that balance as they expand in the sport, and I think the big brands are always going to be in a tough spot because the sport innovates so quickly. There will always be new brands out there who get a chance to start from scratch and come to market with a new proposition or something that is more nimble and meets the need faster. So I think that maybe that's what my hope is for 2026, is we're kind of like wrapping up talking about 25, is that we keep seeing more of that. We saw that this year, with KT jumping into space and F4 and kind of all of the development, all of the Parawing development and new brands there, paragliding brands coming into the foiling space, producing these wings. These are all really good things for pushing the market forward. So I hope that we're all having this conversation at the end of 26 saying like, man, why is all of our gear that we had a year ago irrelevant because so much new awesome stuff came out, and then like we can't even remember the words Parawing or F4 or whatever, because there's some new thing that's like blowing everybody's minds, and the whole sport's still moving at this crazy clip. Because that's what's exciting, is like, man, if we can keep doing this, we'll probably all just be flying soon if it keeps going in this direction. Won't even need.
Yeah, I wonder if it was because they were struggling, or they want to be able to get foils and innovation into people's hands faster, because it's got to be faster. Like dealing.
Well, you can imagine the overhead.
Slow.
Well, and trying to order all your inventory so you get enough from your manufacturer to have enough stock to meet your shop's needs on some bullshit demand that you're projecting out that could or could not be like completely offset by some new product comes out and everybody switches like the wind, right? Like I can only imagine these are not cheap things, right? As a small company, you're talking about every foil kit you buy, you got several $1,000s tied up. And that's just a very hard thing to cash flow. So I think innovation is the big one. Innovation. You can just innovate faster because you have less risk.
Yeah. And you're like, hey, this is Dylan. What do you mean the progression foil is outdated? I've got 16 of them in stock, and now you've got this other foil and I'm stuck with this stuff. Like, it's tough to deal with all those people. There's a lot of mouths to feed with being one of these big brands.
But we talked about it too.
From everybody.
This is what we have to do. Is
our shop's gonna die?
No. Well, look, retail, in-person retail is a challenge globally. Challenge globally, right? When we have such great tools for digital transactions, ease of access, information, videos, AI stuff, whatever's going to happen, right? VR, whatever, all of it's going to change. Yeah, the in-person shop is challenging. It's a lot of overhead. It's a lot of stuff you got to carry. And, but, when it comes to things like this,
yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. Because people want it yesterday, because we're anxious and we're excited and we want to touch it and feel it. I think that's why, certain high-end things are always going to have a retail component. I think foiling will probably be one of those things that has a strong in-person retail. But I don't disagree that there's probably more room for more online stuff to happen. And I think a lot of it's around the reasons you said, the risk to the business. And also, like, why is there not more combination of online? I think what Hydrocraft's doing with this idea of having their owned retail in a hub where people can experience their stuff and then they're going to sell online as a platform. That makes a ton of sense too. And there's nothing, it's kind of similar to like, any other business. If you can just figure out how to go, if you don't have something stopping you from going directly to your consumer, that's whatever, 20, 30, 40% just sitting on the table that they're not taking advantage of. And I'm probably sure that's make or break for the longevity of some of these companies, right? They've got to, this is not easy growing a company in this kind of industry. Everybody's got to be pushing really hard on the margins because, they're making good margin on what they sell, but how much are they dumping in R&D and overstock? And, same thing you do with your business. As much as you sell, how much old gear do you get stuck with? Did you got a fire sale? And then, at the end of the day, like that's really tough on both sides of the business. The people winning are us, the foilers. The foilers are the ones winning. The retailers and the suppliers are just taking it, dude. They are pushing innovation, dedicating their lives to this sport, taking all the risk. All we got to do is spend a little bit of money or a lot of bit of money to have the most fun ever. And, that's a pretty big win for us. So thank you, Dylan and all the
For
suppliers
you.
and shops out there for taking care of us. All right. Downwinding. We haven't talked about. We talked about. Yeah, it's a lot. So downwinding, still it, still the future, still everything. 2025
Yeah,
reinforced that.
I think the paddle is going to be the future.
Paddle's coming back. Full paddle. You heard it here. 2026, year of the paddle.
Yeah, people are tired of being fat and lazy with their trash bags, and they're going to get back on the paddle.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Exactly. All those fat, lazy pair wingers. Yeah, I love how we do that to ourselves, right? Like we talked about this the other day. It's like, oh, foil driving so fat and lazy, whatever. It's like, well, it's just a different sport. It's like, yeah, you didn't paddle into the wave, but I got 50 waves and I did it in 45 minutes. So it's not the same sport. It's just like, what are you trying to get out of it? And downwinding, even parawinging, it's still a lot physically. I mean, you're not using a motor.
Like a lot of cardio.
Yeah, it's a lot of cardio. I don't give a fuck if you're good or not. And you're getting worked out there, dude.
Yeah, since I've been back from the gorge, I've only done a couple ocean downwinders here in Puerto Rico because it was like the low windy season, and we're just like, just busy trying to get to the end of the year here. But man, the ocean is so much fun downwinding. Just feels so, there's just, for your mind and your body, just being miles offshore deep in the ocean is just a total different experience than downwinding in a river. It's I don't know, it has a very different.
The parawing specifically changed the open ocean downwinding for me. Okay, to go back to most impactful sessions for me of the season, my first Maliko run with the parawing, because I'd never had a chance to do a Maliko run with the parawing, or just an ocean downwinder in Hawaii. Obviously, I did some in Puerto Rico last winter, but I'd only been paddling before, and that combination with having the Orca, having that 685, having some really good gear that could keep up, it was like I branched into a whole new sport. It went from downwinding to this open ocean skate surf park experience at speed with the energy that's out there and the chaos and everything that happens, even though, obviously a lot of trade winds, so it's pretty organized, but still there's more swells in the water. It's not like the river. Like the river got a chance to train moving slower in the bumps, lots of cutbacks and carving, turning a downwind and having more of this surf kind of skate park mentality to it. But then it never didn't really apply when I went to the ocean because the gear wasn't fast enough or whatever. And I think it was the combination of having the parawing, being on the Frank board, and having that Orca. And man, that run, it was like you have these moments in any sport where or things you're doing where it's just like a clear, open door to a new dimension of experience. And I think that was really it, and gets me that much more frothy on what downwinding is going to deliver long term. Man, it just started going to full surf skate sessions. Not I really feel like I'm out there working. I mean, we were just playing. And I think that comes down to all the hard work you guys have done on getting good gear in our hands and pushing this thing forward. Because now we've got the skills, because we suffered, and we got the gear and the tools to do it. And so now we're able to do shit at some new level that's just kind of really unthinkable for me. Unthinkable 3 years ago, what we're doing now. I wouldn't have ever thought we'd be doing what we're doing. No way.
I was pulling up some old videos on my phone of some tow sessions, and it was
so bad.
Dude, it was you on the 120 lift high aspect, bombing down this shitty onshore slop north swell at Caballos, and you were I was oh my god, in your pump you're I was I can't believe how far, god damn. So I always remember it's I'm an athlete, I've been in this wind sport thing, and I was a good kiter, and I caught on to foiling pretty quick, but I was okay at it. So I always and I'm young, and beautiful. And I remember you getting into foiling, and then, we started doing this towing thing, and it was always I was always just a little bit better than you. I was always
a lot better at the beginning, a lot. I'm still surprised you would go riding with me, because we were on such opposite platforms as far as what we were able to do on the foil, but appreciate you sticking in there with me, man.
I can't remember when it turned over, and I was like, God damn it. I look over at Walt, and he's not like the guy I'm taking foiling anymore, right? It's Walt fucking ripping on a foil. And I'm
Yeah, that
like,
was a
God
good
damn,
feeling
I
for
wish
me
I could
too.
rip like that.
Whatever, dude, you shred. Yeah, no, that was a great, when I finally was like, okay, I like Dylan and I, he's still obviously
I
better
think it
at
was
all the
that
things,
Maui.
but we can
I
do
think
it
it was that
together.
Maui trip.
Yep.
It was like that Maui trip. Like you were in Hood and you did like all this downwinding. Like you spent so much time on the foil and paddling, and then we went to Maui, and you were like training to downwind in Maui, and you had like a couple shockers, and then I don't know, from then on it was just like, oh, like nothing could stop you.
Yeah, that was great. Those shockers that was maybe like the low point in my foiling career, was those first two shockers in Maui, because I'd been working so fucking hard, right? I'd gotten so much better. I'm like, I'm ready for this. I put
Yeah.
in a month in Hood. I show up with you and Roy and Mickey, and what did I do? I like suffered through the first run, and then the second one, I got so worked, I ended up like bailing, I think, and like paddling in at like Paia Beach on like a 4-mile Sugar Cove run, like things that are just so easy when I look back at them now. And it was just goes to show you just can't hold on too fucking tight, man. With this sport, with downwinding, like you cannot hold on too tight. Like I was holding on too tight, and as soon as I just like relaxed and allowed the intuition of the time I've spent in the ocean to like lead me, all of a sudden it started clicking. And your guys' encouragement, it wasn't easy. I was riding with the 3 best downwinders that I knew, you, Roy, and Mickey, pretty much at that time. So it was sink or swim for me. I had to step up in that trip and keep up. And yeah, it was great, man. So appreciate you waiting on me.
The
man.
ocean. Yeah, the ocean will do that to you though. Like I'm like, I don't know if I've talked about it, but I'm just scared every time I go foiling. I'm just scared. The foil is scary. It scares the shit out of me. Foil driving a mile offshore on my foil drive unit, like it's heavy, and when the waves are like 5 foot, I'm like, and I'm surfing this wave and I'm bombing, and I'm like, oh my God, this is scary.
Yeah. But like,
just like I'm,
but like a manageable. Manageable
no, it's
life,
like, but that's why
accepting scare. Like I'm risking my life in a medium way right now, and I think that's the magic, right? When you just feel like you're only risking your life a little bit, it makes it all feel so real and so badass. Yeah. I don't know. I think I went from climbing to this, right? I love that feeling of like having to be in control and having a certain amount of critical decisions to make, and feeling like, even if it's not true, feeling like your life is on the line. I think it's important. This is how we survived as humans. We were in life and death situations every day. It's only the last 100 years that every day it's like, man, I'd have to really try to kill myself. Most of the time, the whole world's trying to kill you. So it's like, I think that's why we love this, because it's like just enough to get us tuned in, make us feel alive, make us feel real. And I'm excited to get scared. Yeah, I'm with you. Still scared. Climbing, never stop being scared of climbing. I'll never stop being scared of surfing and foiling. I feel like I'm going to die every time.
It's not like I'm scared, but I have this certain respect for what I'm doing. And like, I'm always like, okay, am I going to have a shocker? Is like when I'm doing downwinders in the ocean with the parawing, like, is the wind going to die? Am I going to be a mile offshore? Like, there's always something there which keeps you, heightened and aware, making sure you're not going to make the wrong decision on a turn and you're going to pump yourself to death to stay up or something, right? I don't know. Like, but on a kite, I don't feel nothing. I don't feel I don't have that like scared feeling. Even when I'm kite foiling and I'm like hucking kite loops and stuff, I just don't have this. It's like a playful thing. Mm-hmm. But the foiling, like downwinding and shredding turns on a wave and stuff, I don't know. I have this like this tense feeling of it. Like, it's intense.
Yeah, I don't know. I have the same feeling when I kite, so it's the same. It's the same feeling no matter what. No, I agree. It's not. You're not scared. It's like, you fully understand the consequences and the potential consequences, and you reflect the life and death nature of the sport you're playing. Everything we're doing, granted, of course, You could die playing pickleball. I understand that. But the scale's different in how you interact with these greater, it's also like, it's the interacting with these greater pieces of nature that make you feel small and give you scale. A pickleball court will never make me feel like a small human. An ocean, El Capitan, a giant mountain, those will make me feel like a speck of sand on a speck of sand, right? And I think that that feeling is kind of pinnacle to like the grandeur of these adventures and the grandeur of the sport. And so like, I guess my advice for everybody in 2026 is go get fucking scared. Go push yourself a little further, you know, go for that longer run, paddle out when it's just a little bit bigger, because our real feelings around fear are like, they're much more aggressive than what the reality is, right? Like we feel more scared than really what's out there. Don't go out unprepared, but challenge yourself. I think that's the joy, dude. That's it.
Yeah. I think well, who's that famous climber? Alex Hawkins?
Honnold.
Alex Honnold?
Alex Honnold,
and
yeah.
he said something like that about fear. He's like, I think people don't experience fear enough. And they go like, you know, you go on a plane and you're scared to miss your flight. And you feel anxious and scared. It's because you don't know what fear is. That's not fear. You know, I think you got to go out there and risk your life a little bit to put everything into perspective. That's not scary. You know, sitting in the airport for an hour because you missed your flight and trying to catch another flight, you know, with like abundance of food and restaurants around and cash in your pocket and people everywhere is not scary. You know, being out in the middle of the ocean with a broken paddle 2 miles offshore with big fish, that's scary.
Totally, man. No, I agree. And maybe this is the move for 2026 for the X Files. We're gonna get into the nuance of why we're doing the things we're doing instead of just frothing about the tech all the time. But let's be real, we're just gonna froth about tech.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we want to do for 2026. Are we taking this thing to the stratosphere?
Oh man, that's a tough question.
I think this has been this whole podcasting has been an interesting adventure.
We made it out of the basement. We may not be in the stratosphere, but we are above ground level at this point. We are sitting in the living room enjoying making a real podcast ish. So is the stratosphere possible? Yes, but we got a ways to go.
We're out of the back of the van.
No, we are never out of the back of the van. I want to go back in the back of the van. Back to the van. No, we're going to step up the van, but I think that the van is part of the future of the podcast. No, I hope that we get a chance to continue to evolve with this. Obviously, like we've gotten more organized. We've got a better flow going for the kind of stuff we want to talk about. Kind of.
A little bit more organized.
We keep it going. I mean, a little bit. I have a microphone. That's a step. You know, I have more microphone things so I'm not very techie. Dylan is our tech wizard. And by not techie, I'm just lazy. I just don't even want to try things until he shows me how to do it. But we're going to do more of that, and we're going to make some good shows and get out there and try some new shit. We need a trip or something, right?
I scour the internet every day to see what cool shit is out there that I think is interesting, or I would want to talk about, or I don't like, or I think I don't like, and I'd want to try to, you know, convince myself otherwise, or I want to try more shit. I don't want to be affiliated with brands. Of course, I just want to sell the coolest shit. I want to be riding the coolest shit, so that I want to lean into that, you know, and that's part of this podcast is trying to, like, if I'm just a shop, then I'm like, okay, looking at what I can sell. But I think this podcast has made it like, what is the coolest shit out there? Like, what are people doing? Like, what are people after? What do people want out of a foil? Like, what? And like putting yourself in that and trying to find it, to seek it for the audience is something. But then, you know, we find it in for ourselves. And I don't know. I think that's been kind of interesting, if that makes sense. Because I want to find the coolest shit. And it pushes me to look on socials and read the forums for hours, because I'm like, fuck, what are people talking about? Like, why is foiling so cool? Or what cool shit? What are people like right now? Like, there's just so much going on. that it's, hard to, like, it just as a foiler, it's hard. And then I'm trying to seek it, to talk about it, to think about it, to dream about it, to ride it,
Well, I
it's
think this is the point of the podcast as much as that it's this journey in foil progression and like following it and helping amplify. Look, you've got a long journey in the water sports industry, right? And I think you're a great rider who has good feels. I talk a lot and I like to be influential. Whether I should be or not is another question. But if we're not out here chasing, finding the good stuff, amplifying the good stuff, we're not helping drive. We're helping drive the direction of foiling by amplifying the things that we think are good and spending money on them, right? So yeah, I hope we do more of that. I'm excited about all the new things we're gonna get to try next year. I'm excited about more Smash Burger pop-ups. Thought the X-Foil Smash Burger pop-up was pretty sweet. I want to do more of those. Those were super fun. Yeah, we could do it like everything, a little more organized next time, a little less sweaty, maybe some fans. It was very hot. Hopefully it won't be 90 degrees next time we do it. But yeah, that was rad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we finally make money. We just got to start selling burgers.
No one's making any money in this industry. Let's be honest.
No, we gave the burgers away for free and beer for free. So it was a negative money earning experience. But they were really good burgers, and I felt really good about myself afterwards. Can we chug a beer and say happy Christmas and Merry New Year's?
Happy Christmas, Merry New Year's, everybody. I wish I had a beer, but I don't.
Do you have one near you?
No.
That's it? You don't have one? Damn it. All right, well, we'll just have to cheers on the next show. But Dylan, it has been an exceptional year of just everything, like crushing, foiling, doing this podcast. Grateful for the journey, and thanks to all the listeners for hanging in there and taking the journey with us, because obviously we're learning and growing with this podcast as we go. But man, is this shit exciting.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. And I didn't expect the amount of following and stuff that we've gained from this already. And the traction that we had this year was like blew my mind, with that it's actually something that I didn't know it was going to be anything. Just having fun with it and chit-chatting. Don't know what we're going to talk about on a daily. But it's been, super fun.
We at least send text messages back and forth talking about what we're going to talk about a little bit before these shows, which is, that's a big step forward. You texted me yesterday.
Hardly.
Dude.
I did. Yeah. Did you read it?
Yeah, I read it, dude. It was like at least 15, 20 words. I read all of them twice. No, but I think that, we'll just continue to keep pushing this thing. I think we're going to get more content out this year, which will be great. That's been a challenge for both of us because we're on the move and this is not our primary job, as really anybody who's doing a foiling podcast. I don't think anybody's really, it's their day gig. So, it's our job to hustle it up, keep it moving. And, just can't wait to kind of it's weird. This feels like this is the go time, right? Like January comes, wave season. We're coming out of that into downwindy season. This is like the start gun for the season, really. I know it just happens to be right at New Year's, but it really does work that way in my schedule each year. So I'm just really excited. I'll see you in 5 days. Stoked to shred it over New Year's, and see what the wonderful world of foiling has in store for 26.
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about, Walt. Although doesn't seem like it. We didn't touch up on a lot of things that we've got in the back burner that we really want to talk about.
Yeah.
So...
But that's those are 2026 problems. We're gonna keep those tight for this year. Somebody's gotta stay tuned.
Stay tuned. All right. Thanks everybody. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Festivus.
Happy Festivus.
Now to the pole for my feats of strength.